everybody, this is Monson Steed, and welcome to CEO to CEO, where we bring you some of the most dynamic CEOs who are on the forefront of their subjects, their industries, and truly dedicated to making our community and this country better. There is only one phenomenal woman working in DC that has the huge task of guiding us through and in the brand name, trust, a word that we have to hear as it relates to leadership, a word that we have to understand and value as it relates to the outcomes that we want for our society. I'm so proud to have today the one and the only CEO, Denise Forte, CEO of EdTrust. How are you?
I'm well, and thank you for that beautiful introduction. I'm going to come back every day if I can get that.
Every day, it is this moment, every day, education plays a role in the lives. What are the three things that all parents need to understand right now as it relates to a child beginning in September, getting ready to start college?
Oh my goodness. The first thing I would say to parents is have courage, right? You need to be courageous in order to move your student through this very significant phase of their lives. I think the other thing they really need to know is that there is a ton of information out there, but you should really be thinking about two or three core things when you're thinking about college. And I actually am a mom of an almost college goer, so I'm thinking about this a lot. I have a 17-year-old in DC public schools. What it is that will make your student feel like they belong there, right? Belonging is such an important thing for that age. Two, are they going to be getting the support they need as a student of color, Black, Brown, as a student with disabilities? Are they going to be in an environment that is going to support them? And three, what are they going to get out of it? Right? Do they feel that that college, which is just another step on the path, is going to help them to that next step? Those are three, I think, really important things and things that I think about as a mother of an almost college goer.
Thank you for that. So, for those who don't know, every day you wake up and show up at Ed Trust. What is your mission?
Boy, I am so lucky to have the mission that we have. We are all about making sure our students are successful. And that really takes a bunch of different efforts these days when we have an administration and certainly some leaders that don't want students of color or students from low income communities to be successful, that don't want to put in the effort to set them up to be successful. But that's what we do. And we do it by really looking at the data. What do we know about college success? What do we know about students and what they need in the classroom? Do they have teachers of color in the classroom? Do they have access to rigorous curriculums? Do they have the information that they need in college to be successful? We are looking at all of those issues, breaking it down with data, looking at state level data, college level data, school district level data. And then what's even more important is we want to put that data, that resource, into the hands of the community so that they can take ownership of the change they want to see. So for us, our mission is about making sure that our students are successful, making sure our communities have a role in determining that success, and giving them the data to help them.
And being able to analyze data, if you're a parent, somebody says data on college, data on success, where are the two or three things and places that parents need to be going, and how do they analyze data if you're a parent and nobody said, hey, analyze this educational data?
Yeah. Yeah, great question. We have a number of really, I think, amazing tools on our website at trust.org. One of them has deep information about what it really costs to go to college. You can check that out. We have other information out there that looks at what is actually going on with teacher diversity in your state, state by state. We have other information on whether your student is taking the most rigorous curriculum they could possibly take in their schools. So a lot of that information is out on our website at trust.org, and we'd love to have you check it out. It also has a lot of good background information on how to use the data.
Well, I love the how to use the data. The parent wakes up and decides I'm going to a counselor. I've been to EdTrust to really get an understanding of my middle school child who has to make this transition to high school. And I heard CEO Denise Forte say, you need your child in a rigorous program.
Mhm.
What does she need to understand that she is going to advocate for her child? And what does it mean to advocate for a rigorous program and why?
You know, it's really interesting what we learned from the research. We learned a few things that even though a school may say they have advanced placement courses, which are really high rigorous standard, right? They may not have enough seats in that classroom to be able to support all the students who actually can achieve that and learn that information. Or on the flip side, maybe they don't have enough teachers that can teach that coursework. Or maybe they do have AP math, but they don't have the breadth of what's really offered. Do they have AP computer science, AP calculus? So when you start to turn around some of this information and really look at what your school's offering, are they really providing access and opportunity to your student? And once you peel back that data, you'll learn that, yes, some schools are doing really well, others not so much. And but those that don't have that access, maybe this is the issue, not having enough teachers that the parent can now advocate around because they now know that's what's the stumbling block. And until you're actually able to like unpeel that onion, you really won't know what's gonna make a difference for your student.
Thank you for that. Big question. You're in the midst of a moment where a parent's trying to make a decision and educate that child on why it is important for them to study calculus, chemistry, and if you could whisper on this Mother's Day to all of those mothers and fathers, and obviously grandparents and aunts, how would you change the context of excellence and the conversation about being very vigilant about telling our particularly Black, brown, and green and others and disabled children how important it is for them to take these and approach education in a rigorous manner to study the sciences and the maths?
I love that question because I don't think enough schools are sharing what it really takes to put your young student, to put your son, your daughter on the pathway to success. There is a ton of research out there about math and actually how math can be the gateway to success. What we know is that if your young person is not taking algebra by eighth or ninth grade, they can really be shuttled off to the wrong pathway, and that pathway either leading to college or a great career, because Algebra 1 is one of those fundamentals that our young people need. And the key here is really making sure that you as a parent are advocating for that option for your student. And I don't think a lot of parents know about that. But a good thing is there's a lot of things that school districts are doing right now to help more young people access that path. There are some wonderful programs in Texas, Washington State, North Carolina that are allowing more children of color, more children from low income communities to access that pathway. And you know what they found? They found that if you just say, we're gonna put all of our young kiddos in third and fourth grade on an advanced track, that one, they can do it and they want to do it. And once you do that, once you invest in a culture of success for all students, we're really learning that they will be successful. And these opportunities to get on a pathway for Algebra 1 that leads to geometry, that leads to calculus, that gets them in the door of college and university that first time around, that's really important.
I love that you say that. But let's have another cultural conversation. You are sitting and hanging out in Hollywood or New York City in the entertainment or the sports industries. And you could have a conversation with both LeBron and Kendrick Lamar and Sissa and any of the other top 100 Billboard R&B, hip hop, and pop. If you could ask them to make songs of success for an entire community, what would the three things that you'd want to hear titles of songs be so that our young people can hear the success that you envision for the entire America?
Wow, having a great teacher in all classrooms. I'm sure that you remember, and a lot of folks listening to you right now can put a name on that face of that teacher that really supported them. For me, it was Mr. Hale in 10th grade math. He asked me and pushed me to think about the right questions that I needed to ask. And there are a ton of Mr. Hales out there. So, a great teacher in the classroom. I think the other thing that is really important, and unfortunately, this administration is trying to downplay its important and even make it look like it's illegal, are the social and emotional supports that young people need. I don't really care whether you want to call it mental health or counselors or school psychologists. We all know that when a student meets adult in the classroom that really cares for them, makes them feel included in the school, that can make a difference. It could be the lunch lady, it could be the maintenance worker, it can be the bus driver, but those adults really can make a difference. That's number 2 for me. And then number 3, after teachers having a school environment that you can really feel supported, we want all parents to feel welcome in the classroom and welcome in their schools. Parents play such a critical role in a young person's educational career. We can't leave them out of the equation. And more often than not, parents want to be there. Sometimes, though, there are barriers that, are erected by school systems that make parents not feel welcomed. We need to change that because parents, schools, communities, that's really the equation that we want so that young people feel engaged in their schools.
Let's talk about occupations and the connection between occupation and education. What would you suggest to those parents and those students who are trying to figure out where their education will take them post their degree? What
I
are you saying to them now as a CEO to kind of get their minds wrapped around new landscape given the roles that are being removed due to technology or anything else?
It's funny you asked that question because I have a computer science degree, and right now I'm not doing very much with that computer science degree. So I don't know if this is based on research or not, but I do encourage parents make sure their young person's mind stays open. That college opportunity is really a time for young people to explore what they may be interested in. And just because it's computer science now doesn't mean that it's going to be computer science down the road. Now, again, not based on any research, just Denise Forte's personal anecdote there. But I do think, there are a lot of career and college counseling services that are available. We need more. We certainly need more people to want to undertake that as a path to career because the sort of lack of information and the lack of guidance that young people experience while on college campuses can really hurt their overall success. We've been looking at college and career counseling in high school, and we'll have a lot more to offer this summer. But there are things that parents want to and should know about what their students are going to have access to in high school that will make their college experience better.
Lastly, if you were going to speak at a Spelman or Howard or a Fort Valley State or Morehouse as a commencement speaker, what would you challenge this next generation to understand now that they've received an education, their responsibility for future generations?
I love that question. I think first and foremost, I would say that their voice matters. The change that we have seen through young people and their movements has always built up something better for our country. So be courageous and speak up. Two, make sure that you have a lasting impact on the young people that are coming after you. Everybody needs a mentor. Everybody wants to know that there are some paths to follow. And I think we have to be that storyteller. We have to tell people about the paths they follow. And lastly, make it fun. Your education career, your ultimate career should be something that you enjoy, and don't do it unless you enjoy it. I think those are the three things that I would really tell young people today.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first. I really want to thank you for taking time to be on CEO to CEO, Denise Ford. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed our conversation. Have a good one.